Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the day six of our boot camp and second day with joining using Power BI for data analysis and visualization. So we are starting quickly without wasting much time while others will join the call as we progress. So I'm going to share my Power BI Power Query Editor where we stopped last yesterday from data cleaning. So let me quickly share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. Please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay, that's good. So this is where we stopped yesterday while we're doing our data cleaning. Yesterday we did a lot, and I hope that you guys might have gone back to practice on what we did. So yesterday we did a lot of data cleaning. We transpose, we unpivot, we also replace values. Okay, yeah, we replace values as well. We did a lot. So today we are going to continue from where we stopped. This is our clean data set. Like yesterday, you can see how messy this data set was, but today we have it in this shape that is now ready for analysis. Now there are a few things I want us to put into consideration while you are doing your data profiling and cleaning or transformation. Now, if you look at the column headers, the field, you see that the segment is having ABC. The ship mode is having ABC. So like I said, the ship mode is having ABC. The other ID is having ABC. And for the sales, we are having ABC and 1 to 3, which is telling you that it's a mixture of text and numbers. And for you to be able to do a very good analysis, you must take note of your fields, your data type. They are very important. For this segment column, this ABC represent or is telling us that this data is represented as text. So if I click on this ABC, you see quite number of options you can choose as your data type. You can see decimal number, you can see fixed decimal number, you can see whole number, percentage, time and date. We have date. This time and date is that your date will have time as well. And then we have the date, we have time, we have time, date, time zone, we have duration, we have text, we have true or false, binary, and the likes of others. So the thing you have to put into consideration is that when you are cleaning your data, the data type too you must pay attention to the data type so as to change it to the proper data type. So in our own case, this segment, please, if your mic is not muted, help us and mute your mic. So like I said, the segment column is all right because it represents text. The ship mode also, the ABC represent text, is all right. The other ID is also all right because it represents text. While for the sales, you can see that the data type is not properly selected. If you are using this, you'll be having problem with your analysis because we have ABC and numbers, which represent text and number. So what we have to do is to click on where you have the ABC, just click on it, and then we'll change it to fixed decimal number because it is sales. We are changing it to fixed decimal number. So this is the one we are going to choose. And you can see that all the steps that we have taken in cleaning this data has been recorded in our apply step. So whatever you are doing here is being recorded. So at any given point in time that you felt maybe you have made a mistake in a particular step, you can go back to your previous step and correct it. Or maybe if it is such that you need to delete it, you can delete it using this uh, time sign here. You can just click on it and then you delete it. So this is our data set. It is now set for analysis. And then we can reorder our columns. You can see that the order ID is supposed to be at the first column, but it is second to last column. So we can reorder it. One of the way you can reorder our column is you just click and hold, drag it to the position you want it to be, like the way it is now. And you can see that we have another step, which is reorder column. But I want to click it, I want to cancel it and show us something again. If I click on this order ID, I will just right click, then you come down, you see this move. If you navigate to this move, you can see move to left, move to right, move to beginning, and move to end. So in my own case, I'll move it to the beginning. So I just click on this move to beginning and it will reorder it to be the first column at the beginning. So that is just very simple as that. Now let us look at this view tab. There are few things I want us to take notice of, and they are very, very important in data cleaning. If you understand them, it will help you a lot in data cleaning. The first thing is this column profile. This column profile is showing you the quality of your data, the validity of your data set. Like now, we can see that when we haven't done our data cleaning, we were having empty about 96. I think the value were just like 6 or 4 or thereabout. So it's showing you the validity and the accuracy of your data. Since we have done our cleaning now, under this column profile, column quality, is now showing us that our valid is 100. We don't have any error. Our error is 0. Our empty are also 0. Under the segment, the same thing. Our valid is 100, empty 0, error also 0, and the likes of other columns. So the column quality is showing you the validity of your data, the quality of your data set. So that is one thing you can easily understand how your data quality is when once you just go to your column quality and check it. If I uncheck it now, you will not see these things here. So if I uncheck it, you will no longer see the data quality that you were seeing here, that were giving us the validity, the number or the percent of validity, the percent of error, and the percent of null values. So for you to be able to see it, because I'm showing you this, probably if you are downloading your Power BI for the first time and you have not checked this, you may not see it. So in order for you to see those validity percent, you must check this column quality, like I've checked it now. So when you check it, you'll be able to see this. And it's always ideal that leave it checked. Don't uncheck it, leave it checked. So that when once you import your data, you extract your data into the Power Query editor, you can easily understand the quality of your data. And the second thing we are talking about is the column distribution. So column distribution shows the frequency of values, like the occurrence of values. How many times is that value occurring in that place? Like a particular value, how many times is it occurring in your data set? So it shows the frequency of those values or your values in the data set, or the occurrence of the values in your data set. But let me uncheck profile so that we can see the column distribution very well. Now we are having 822 distinct and 822 unique. What this unique and distinct means is, let me open Excel and explain it to us. Let me launch Excel. I want to explain something to us. When we are talking of, let me say here, let me write distinct, and here let it be unique. Now when we are talking of distinct and unique values, Here we have A, we have B, we have C, we have C, we have D. And here let us have A, we have A, we have C, we have C, and we have D. Now what distinct value is telling us is, distinct value counts only even if the values are appearing multiple times. Like in the case of duplicate, if you come to our data set here, you can see that we have consumer. If you look at the segment column, we have consumer, consumer, consumer in multiple places. Under distinct count or distinct value, it will ignore all other consumers and count consumer only once. Let me come back to my Excel. It will ignore other consumers and count consumer only once. Like here we have A in 2 places, B in 2, C in 2 places, and D only 1. So what this distinct, oh, my distinct is not even correct. Okay. So what the distinct count will tell us is it will ignore duplicate and give us only what? 3. On a normal, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the distinct, it will count only 3. It will give us only 3 as distinct, which means other duplicate, it will ignore them and give us only A. Like A, it will count it only once. It will ignore the other A. C, it will count it only once. It will ignore the other C. And D, which means 3 distinct. 3 distinct. While in the case of unique value, that will have 3 distinct value. In the case of unique value, if you look at this where I wrote my unique, you see A, C, C, and D. In the case of unique value, we have only 1. And why do we have only 1? Value that appears just unique. When we are talking of unique, is something that is very special. It doesn't have duplicate. And if you look at the value that doesn't have duplicate here, is only D, which it will count just 1. It will give us 1 value as the unique value, which is D. A appeared twice, is not unique. C appeared twice, is not unique. So it's only D that appear once, and that's why we have 1 as what? Our unique value or unique count, and then 3 as what? The distinct count, because it's not counting duplicate, it's only counting A1, C1, and then D. So that is the concept of what? Unique or distinct values. Please, understanding this, it will be a very important thing you have to know as a data analyst, because if you understand the concept, it will help you a lot. The next thing we are looking at is what? The column profile. We are looking at the column profile. I want to check it so that we can. Now when I check the column profile, if you look at here, let me just choose the one that is not this many. Let me use this segment. Yes, let me use segment. Now the column profile gives a detailed statistic about the column you click on. Like when I click on this other ID, you can see that there are very many. That's why I say let me click on the segment column, because I want to see the one that are very few in order to be able to have it at a glance and explain something to you. So now the column profile gives a detailed statistic about a particular column. Like now we are on segment column. You can see that the segment column, the total count is giving us is, that is the total value in that column is 822. You can see it here, 822. Then we have 0 error. We have empty 0. While distinct is 3. I've explained that to us, what is distinct and what is unique. And the unique, we have 0. The empty string, we have 0. The mean, we have consumer here. And then the max, we have home. Why is it giving us this one? Because these are not values. They are not numbers. That's why it's giving us consumer as the mean. and then home as the max, which means consumer is the one that appears lesser than the home. Home appear more than the consumer. But if I take this, you can even see from the bar distribution here, the bar chart here, you can see that consumer has the highest bar, while corporate has follows alongside, and then the home is the least. That's why we are seeing it in this order. Then if I click on these sales, this one is even two more. You can also see the same thing from the sales here. If I click on the ship mode, you can also see that the first class has the highest, the second class followed the first class, and then the standard class have the highest, followed by the second class, first class, and the same day. So the column profile gives us what the statistical representation of that particular column, while the column distribution gives us what the frequency occurrence of values in that particular column, and the or in your data set, the frequency occurrence, and then the column quality focuses on the validity or the quality of your data set. So this is what we have. Like yesterday, what I didn't show us is after I finish, let me come back to my home tab. After I finished transforming this data, the next thing you have to do when you are done with your data transformation, the next thing you have to do, you come to this home tab, and then the first option you see there is close and apply. But don't just click there, just click on this drop down arrow. You see many options. The first one is close and apply, the second one is apply, the third one is close. So what I did yesterday, I didn't close and apply, but because I know that we are still working on this data set, so I just close it. And then save it on the main Power BI where I'm supposed to do my analysis. So when you are not done, you can just close it. Not to close and apply, you can just, when you know that you still have a lot of maybe you still have to clean your data, instead of closing and apply, just close it, so that you can still resume your analysis, your transformation the next time you want to. But once you are done with your transformation and you know that everything is set, just click on close and apply. But for now, I will not click on close and apply. I want to import another data set that we are just going to quickly do some data cleaning again. Now, in your journey as a data analyst, data cleaning is very important, and data cleaning will take about 70% of your time as a data analyst. When you want to do your data analysis, data cleaning or data transformation will take about 70% of your time. So knowing how to clean your data very well is very important as a data analyst. So I'm going to import another data set that we are going to look at other method of data cleaning as well, so that you have a wider understanding of some of the data cleaning process that you are supposed to be doing as a data analyst. Now, for us to import, while you are on this Power Query Editor, you see this new source. Sorry, let me clean it. Let me close it. This new source is when you want to import a new data set. But this recent source, maybe if you still want to extract your data sets from the source that you have already imported data previously, from a source that you have already imported data previously, you can still use this recent source. It will take you to that same source. But here we want to use new source because we want to extract from another source. So I'll click on this new source, and I will choose Excel workbook because my data is, the file is saved as Excel workbook. So I will just click on it, and then it will take me to my desktop. Sorry, let me admit someone. So it will take me to this. I will navigate to where I have my file saved, and then this is the one we are going to choose, this data transformation. I'm going to click on it and then open it. So it will now still open in my Power Query editor. Now under this navigator pane, you can see that we have so many sheets here. It's because the data set contains about 7 or 8 sheets or more on it. So that's why you're seeing this many sheets here. So for you to know the actual one you want to work on, like I showed us yesterday, just click on the table. Don't check. From here you can know the one you want to work on, and then you choose it. Just click on any of the data set name or the sheet name, and then preview it to see the one you want to choose, so that you will not import the wrong data set. So in my own case, I will check this data cleaning. That is the one I want to check. So I'll just check it. That is, when you check it, then you see this OK. This OK will be active. Before, it was graded out when I haven't checked it, like this. So if you checked it, the OK will be active. So you can now click on OK. It will now take you to your Power Query editor. So let's wait a little for it to load. So we now have this data set now. We now have this data set. If you look at, hello, please, can you still hear me now? And please, if you want to speak out, just unmute your mic and speak out, because sometimes if you drop your message on the chat, I may not be able to see it because I am on a different screen. So please let me know if my audio is still breaking, like someone recently complained. Okay, it's all right. So now I've imported another data set. You can see that if you look at the left hand side where we have queries, you can see that we have 2 data sets there. Okay, does someone want to say something? Okay, it's all right. Thank you, sir. So if you look at the left hand side, you see that we now have 2 tables there. We have sales data and data cleaning. Now this is the one we are working on. If you click on sales data, it will now open the sales data that we have worked on already. But that is not the one I want to work on. I will still click on this data cleaning, and then it will take us to this one. You can see that this data too is very dirty. It's very messy and it's not ready for analysis. So what we are going to do is, we are still doing our data cleaning again. First thing first, I have to uncheck this step that will automatically applied as I imported it. You know, Power BI will look at your data set and automatically promote the headers and also change data types for you. But what is on the headers there is not what I want. So I have to close this change type. I have to also close this promoted headers. You can see that the first 2 rows are having XXXXX all through. The first 2 rows. Like I told us yesterday while we were doing our data cleaning, when you import or extract your data into your Power Query editor, the first thing is to do what? Data profiling. To study and understand your data, or you can call it data exploration. You study and understand what is wrong with your data, to understand trend and patterns. In this case now, you see that the first 2 rows are written with X on them all through. So we need to do what? Firstly, we need to do what? We need to remove those rows. We need to do what? Remove those rows. So how do we remove rows? You come to, while you are still on your home tab, you come to where the group that says reduce rows, reduce rows. You see remove rows, you see keep rows. So we are clicking on the one that say remove row. Just click on the drop down, it will open, and when it opens, click on where they say remove top rows. Yesterday we used bottom rows because we want to remove the rows that are at the bottom. Today we are doing what? We are removing top rows because the rows are at the top. So we just click on remove top rows. And how many number of rows do you want to remove? You already know what you want to remove, so you specify how many rows you want to remove from the top. So in our own case, it's just 2 rows. I'll write 2 and then click on OK. When I click on OK, those 2 rows have been removed. You can see that under apply steps, it has been recorded that we have removed top rows. What do we have to do next? We have to do what? Promote our headers. What you see here as the first rule, what represented at the first rule is supposed to be what? Our column headers, our fields. You see consumer ID, you see, sorry, customer ID, you see first name, last name, email address, phone number, date of birth, and the likes of others. They are supposed to be what? Our role headers, our column headers rather, where you see column 1, column 2, column 3, and the rest of others. So what we need to do is to promote our headers. Promote row 1 to become what? Our headers. So you come to transformation, this transform, the transform tab. The first group that you see table, the second icon there you see use first row as header. So you just click on it, expand it, and then we choose this first option that says use first rows as what? Headers. We just click on it. So it will promote our first rows to become what? Headers. You can still see that our data is still not 100% accurate. Under the customer ID, we have 2 empty. Under the first name, we have about 2 empty. Last name, 2 empty. Email, we have 24 empties. Under phone number, we have 10 empties, and the likes of others. If we exploit our data, you just see the number of empties. So those empties, we need to replace those values. But before we replace those values, we are going to check if our data set has error. I mean, I have duplicate. We need to check if our data set has duplicate. And how do we do that? Still under home, where they say remove, keep rows. Firstly, we have to check if there are duplicates. Where they say keep rows, we are going to expand it, and then we are keeping duplicate. This option that say keep duplicate, we want to keep duplicate and see if actually there are duplicates. And it's telling us that these are our duplicates. When we click on keep duplicate, this is what we are seeing as what? Our duplicate. Sorry, let me check something. Okay. So this is what we are seeing as what? Our duplicate. But let us confirm if truly these are duplicate. You don't just remove, you have to confirm if they are truly duplicate. And for you to know that they are duplicate is that they are having the same value across what? Across columns, spread across your rows. Now, the first option here, the first name is Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson also have another Michael Wilson, which is number 7. That is our customer ID, number 7. You can see that this is Michael Wilson. This is also Michael Wilson. Now, Michael Wilson is having the same values across what? Rows, which tells us that this is actually a duplicate. And under Sarah Johnson, this is Sarah Johnson, number 2 in our numbering, Y21 under customer ID. And here too is what? 21. You can see that Sarah Johnson is the same as the other one, which is here, Sarah Johnson. And other ones too, they are also duplicate. This Andrew Brown, we see Andrew Brown here too, is the same thing. They are having the same value across column and the same word customer ID, which tells us that it's actually what? Duplicate. Even their price is the same, quantity the same, and everything the same. So these actually are what? Duplicate values. Like I said, you must confirm before you start removing. So what I'm going to do quickly is I'll still cancel this step and then go to what? Remove duplicate. Now I'm not using keep rules, I'm using remove rules. I will expand it and come to where they say what? Remove duplicate. I'll just check on it and then our duplicate values will be removed. So you can see that the apply step have been recorded that remove duplicate. Another thing is I'm going to sorry, I'm coming. This first name, let's check and see what the null value is all about. Okay, under the null value, you can see that we have null, 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 null all through our data set. So what we need to do is to remove it as well. To remove it. But we are going to check where we have this null. You can see that the last row in our data set is having null all through. So what are we still going to do? We are still coming to remove column. Remove rows rather. And this time we are using what? The bottom rows. And then we write just one because we want to remove one. And then we click OK. So we have now removed our bottom row. So now the other ID is now having 100% valid, first name 100% valid, and the likes of others. Second name, last name as well. But the email is having what? 18 empty. But in the case of email address, you don't just assume to fix any email address here. But on a real sense, when you are working on a real data set that your client gave to you, you have to ask them to give you the right information. But in the case that you cannot actually know the right information, you don't just have to input any email address there for the person. The only thing we just have to do is we right click and then come to replace value. We are replacing that email address with unknown because we don't know the email address. So here you will see value to replace, value to find. Value to find, we are putting null value. We are putting null, while value to replace, we are putting what? Unknown, because we don't know it. And then we hit OK. So we have settled this case. We are moving further again to the second row, which is phone number. Under this phone number too, we are doing the same thing because we don't know the phone number. So we still right click, come to replace value. This is replace value. We click on it. And then value to find is what? Is still null. Value to replace, in this case, we just put 0. Let's just put 0 as a placeholder. As what? A placeholder to just occupy that space. Maybe if it is a real data set, when you get the correct phone number, you now replace them. So we are putting 0 so that we can quickly understand that that is where we are going to replace our value. So I will just put 0 and then that is settled. We come to date of birth. Date of birth too, we are going to do the same. Come to replace values. So what are we replacing? Value to find is null, and value to replace is what? We are just going to look at, since we are replacing as a placeholder, we are just filling it as a placeholder. We are looking at a more recent date of birth so that we can actually know that that is the date of birth in case we want to change it if you are working on a real data set. So you just use a recent date that is farther from this other date as a placeholder so that you can change it subsequently when you have the actual date of birth. So now we are going to use today's date is what? 25th. Let me use today's date, 25th January 2026. 2026. So that's what we are going to use and replace those values. The second one we are going to replace is registration date. The date they actually registered in the organization. Still more, you can see that our date here is date time. That's why you are seeing this small time icon on the date. So we are going to change it to what? Date. We just need date, not date time. So we just change it to date. We don't need the time. Then we still have to replace this null value with what? A recent date. We just put a recent date as a placeholder. Now, value to find. What are you finding? We are looking for null value and value to replace. Let us still use the same date, which is 25th January 20 what? 25 2026. So 2026, we click OK, and we still have our date. Under this full address, you can see that we have the address, we have the street name, the town name or the city, and the country. So there are three things joined in this particular column. So what we need to do is we are going to split this column. So just click on it, and then under transform, we are going to come to transform. While you're on transform, you will see split columns. I'm coming. Okay, let me come back to, okay, it's under home. Just come to this place, this transform group. You see split column. Just expand it. You see the first option is split by delimiter. So we are using this first option which says split by delimiter. So just click on it, and then the delimiter we are splitting by is comma, because the address are separated by commas. So we are using comma as the delimiter, and then leave everything the same way it is. And then check OK. So we now have three columns: full address 1, full address 2, full address 3. But we are going to do something. The first one here, we are going to change it to address. We are going to change it to what? Address. While the second one, we are changing it to what? City. That is the city. So we are changing it to what? The city. And then the third one, we are changing it to what? The country. That is the country. And then we hit enter. Then the next thing we are doing is we are going to replace the values. We are going to do what? Replace the values. So under the street, we are going to put unknown because we don't know the, sorry, I went and click on a different thing. So we are coming to what? Replace values, and then we are going to replace the value with what? Unknown. Here we have space, so we just put unknown. Since there is a space there, you don't need to type anything on value to find, just leave it like that, and then come to value to replace, then you type unknown. We type unknown and then hit OK. So we have settled this. The next one is the city. Come to the city, right click, come to replace value, and value to replace, leave it like that. Then come to the next one, which is, sorry, value to find, leave it like that. Come to value to replace, then type unknown, and then you replace it. But there is something that is going to happen. You can see that when we replace the value, it did not take effect. The spaces are still blank. It did not take effect. Why? Because there are empty spaces that we need to clean. So I'm still going to undo this, cancel this step. And then what am I going to do here? I will right click on this city, come to what? Transform. You see this transform? I'll come to transform, and I will choose trim. What does trim do? Trim will cancel or erase unnecessary spaces that are in between text, whether leading or trailing spaces, and leave only the text the space that is in between. Maybe if it is like surname and last name, or surname and first name at the same place, that space separating text, it will leave it, but the leading spaces and the trailing spaces will be removed. But in this case, there is a space in between where we are seeing just written as a blank. There is a space there that we need to trim. So we are going to click on word trim, and it will trim out that space. It looks as if there is just an empty something, but there's a space there too that we need to rectify. So we are going to apply that step. Sorry, I'm coming. So we just have to, after we have applied our stream, what we're going to do next is we are now going to right click. When we right click, we come to what? Replace values, and then we now value to replace, just leave it blank. Value to find, rather leave it like that. Then come here and type unknown, and then hit enter. You can now see that it has been replaced. And then the next thing we are going to do quickly, I just want to run this quickly. Okay, the order ID. Okay, like this product name, where you have product A, product B, we are going to change it. That name is not okay, so we are just going to rename it to what? Product name. We are renaming it to what? Product name. So we go to category. Instead of having it as category, we are going to have under this category 1 is going to be just what? Category. Okay, let's quickly see how you can round up. So under category 2, what we are going to do there is subcategory. We're going to type subcategory. While under the color is okay, the color is okay. And what are we going to do next? The price. What we're going to do on the price here is, one, we have to change it back to what? Firstly, we have to remove this dollar sign that is before the values. I have to quickly do that. Replace values, value to find, that dollar sign, value to replace, none. Just leave it like that. Click OK, and then we have to change it to what? Fixed decimal, and then the null value, we are quickly going to replace it with the mean. So let's come to transform. When you come to transform, you see the statistics under number column. You see the statistics. I just want to run very fast. Then come to this average, just click on it. So it's telling us that the average amount or price there is 801 naira. So let's just cancel the apply step, go back to the price, then change it, replace values. Value to find is null, while value to replace is what? 801. While the under the quantity here, you can see that there is this dash before the amount. So first thing, we have to change it to text. In order to be able to remove it, we change the data type to text, and then we come here and type and come to remove value, replace value rather. What we are finding is this dash, and then replace it with none. So we have to change it back to what? Whole number. So the last thing we are going to do is what? Okay, the discount. So all of this has been settled. So what I want to do quickly here is to change the data types, and then we are going to close and apply. So the first thing here, the discount, I'm going to change it to fixed decimal. And then the quantity whole number is okay. The price, I'm going to change it also to what? Fixed decimal. The color, yes, text is okay. The subcategory text is okay for the data type. The category text is okay. The product text is okay. Product ID, we have to change it despite the fact that it's a number. Is number that are written there, but it's a product ID. So we have to change it to what? Text as well. We change it to text. And then we come to country is okay. Come to city, yes, our data type is okay, which is text. We come to address, our data type is okay. We come to registration, no, registration date, yes, it's okay. We come to date of birth, it's okay. Phone number, we are not using it for any analysis, so we have to change it to text. We have to change it to what? Text. And then we come to email address is under text, last name under text, first name, and our customer ID too, we have to change it to what? Text. Our data type has to be text. So having done this, the next thing we are going to do here is to close and apply. So we come to this, but then I don't want to apply this sales data. What I have to do now, because I don't want to see it on my Power BI when I'm doing my analysis, I don't want to apply this too. So you just right click on it, come to where they say disable load. It's under enable. So I will just uncheck it. Once you uncheck it, you see that the name will italicize. So I have unchecked it so that if I load, it will not load also. You can see that it has been cancelled. So we go to now close and what? Apply. I will now click on what? Close and apply. I'll just click here. So you just have to wait, and then it will be applied where we can be doing our analysis. We can write our DAX and the rest of others. So you can see that our data set is loading. So you just inside a little bit patient for it to load. So while our data set is loading, please, if you have any question, you ask. Okay, I think it's done loading. Our data set is done loading. So if you look at this place, like I told us yesterday, under these tabs by your right hand side, left hand side, if I click on this table view, you can now see our table, our data set here. You can see our data set here now on the table view. On the model view, we didn't do any model. That's why you're seeing only this data cleaning that is there. So by your right hand side, if you click on this data, you see, if I click on it, you now see the data name here. So if you expand this, you now see the columns that are in that data set, the column headers. So please, if you have any question, ask quickly so we proceed. Another thing is that when you get to this place, if you want to save it, to save this work, just come to file, come to this save, or probably save as, just click on it. When you click on it, you choose where you want to save your data. I'll come on this browse to device, and then I will choose from whatever folder I want to save it to, and then type the name and I will save it. So please ask your question if you have any, so that we can call it a night. No, okay, I understand what you're saying. So when you import your data, first I told you about the data quality. You must check all of these things and the null values. If your data having null values, if your values your data set having duplicate. So all of these things you have to check. Is your data set having maybe some misspelled names, maybe some are not properly spelled. Like sometimes you see that one person will write Lagos in capital letter, maybe in upper cases throughout. Another person will write Lagos in lower cases. Another person will write Lagos in proper case. So all of these things you have to correct them. So you must study your data to understand how your data is being structured. Do you understand? You must study it to understand how it's been structured. So when you study, you from there you know what you ought to do from your data set. I don't know, maybe I've answered your question. It's all right. Thank you. So in the since no other person is saying anything, which means they understand what we did or understood what we did. So we'll call it a night from here and then resume again by next weekend. So thank you so much for joining our class today. And I hope that you continue to practice what you have learned. Our videos will be uploaded tomorrow. Our recordings will be uploaded tomorrow so that you can have access to them on our YouTube channel. So you be able to do the practice. And even this data set, I will send it on the group as soon as I drop this call. So thank you so much and do have a wonderful night rest.